Hey ladies, welcome to the Calm Edge podcast. I'm your host, Brooke. Does it feel like your brain is on overdrive? Maybe you're struggling with spiraling thoughts and feeling like you can't relax. Well, hey, I have a solution for you. I'm a hypnotherapist and I help women just like you every single day reprogram their minds to master overthinking and eliminate self-doubt so you can feel calm, confident, and elevated. Let's dive in. I'm so excited to be back on the podcast. I gave myself at least a year to take a break from social media and from the podcast and to really process my birth and the identity shift that comes with becoming a mother. Such a huge shift. This is like one of the most challenging things I've ever done, and also one of the most amazing things that I've ever done. And I'm so grateful that I just happen to be a hypnotherapist because it's really given me perspective as I move through all of this. Because I know that our subconscious belief systems and our subconscious habits and patterns and our experience of the world are essentially defined by our identity and who we believe we are and all of the limitations that come along with those identities. The thing about the subconscious is that it doesn't matter if it's good change. The subconscious just wants to keep everything at homeostasis. So when there's death of an identity, it is literally a threat to the whole system. With that said, talk about a double whammy on identity shifts. So not only did I have a baby this year, but then I turned 40. Turning 40 is also another massive, holy shit, identity shift. And so I've done both of those this year. I was about 35 when we got married and 39 when my son was born. And my husband is 44. And so obviously we waited because we waited to find the right person. And then we waited to get pregnant. And we've been having conversations lately about how we cannot imagine if we had done this 10 years ago and how grateful we are that we didn't do it a day sooner than we did. So I thought I would start today off with the pros to having your first baby at 40 because we all have so much noise. Talk about conditioning. Your clock is running out and like, why aren't you married yet? I remember when I was 26 years old, I went home to visit my family and I heard my mom in the other room on the phone being like, yeah, Brooke's home. She's 26 and still single, as if it was a problem. And I was 26. Oh my God, I was a baby. And that was the conditioning that I was constantly hearing about. And now that I am where I am so freaking grateful. So I'm going to share with you the pros to having your first baby at 40. Number one is nervous system regulation. This is a gift that I'm giving my son, the ability to keep my nervous system regulated when he is not regulated. And that's what's going to teach him how to regulate his own nervous system. And had I had a baby at 30, I would not have been able to do that. It would have been a whole different story. That also kind of ties into emotional regulation and being able to recognize his emotions and help him by validating his emotions and then also guiding him through that. And so I honestly, I'm kind of laughing, but had I had a baby when I was 30, it wouldn't be cute. I mean, I didn't see a hypnotherapist for the first time until I was like 30, and then I didn't become a hypnotherapist until I was 35. And so it's through this work that I've learned how to regulate, that I've learned how to do the things that help me stay calm. And that has been the biggest gift in becoming a mother. And not that I'm always perfect, but I have so much more grace for myself, which leads me to the number two pro to having your first baby at 40, which is being able to set boundaries and protect your peace. So this comes in with making sure that I'm taking care of myself. I think at 40, it's a lot easier because you don't really give a fuck as much. This is something that I teach my one-on-one clients, but I also practice in my own life is just saying, no, that's not going to work for me. Protecting my energy. And so that has allowed me to really put things in place for myself. I'm doing yoga regularly. I'm exercising. I'm working out. My husband and I sat down and we have an agreement on times of each week where he's going to go surfing and I'm going to go work out because these are the things that help us feel best. And so we make sure that we're taking care of ourselves so that we can show up for our family. And I don't think that I would have done as good of a job at that if I had had a child in my early 30s. Okay, number three pro to having your first baby at 40 is having an amazing partner because I waited for the right person. He takes on at least 50% of the mental load and 50% of the night shifts, even though he works full time. And I honestly don't know what I would have done without him. I do not know what I would have done with a husband that wasn't able to show up as much as he does in the mornings because I would maybe be up in the middle of the night feeding the baby. He would get out of bed at 5:30, 6 a.m. and take West for the morning. And then he goes to work and then he walks in that door as soon as his work is done and he takes over in the evening so I can leave and go to a yoga class. Because I waited and I got really clear with my needs and my desires, I was able to attract a partner that met me there. And that has never come into play more now that we have a child because having a child and being in a partnership is next level growth shit. You want to have a teammate and not someone who's working against you. Had I done that with the guy that I wanted to marry when I was 23, let's just say, I don't think it would be going this well. All right. Number five pro to having your first baby later on in life is getting to build a business beforehand that pretty much flows on its own. So what's been really cool about this year for me is that my business was flowing, clients were finding me. So once that baby came, I part of the reason you haven't heard from me on social media or you haven't heard a podcast episode is because I've been busy seeing clients. The clients are finding me. So that was all put in place before my baby was born, and I'm able to see my clients virtually all over the world, which is incredible. And it gave me the flexibility to step back and really give myself this year to acclimate. So there you go. I think one of the biggest things that I was worried about waiting is so many people say things like, oh, well, your body bounces back like way better when you're 20 or 30 than when you're 40. I went skiing in my ski bunny suit 3 months after my baby was born. I was in Orange Theory 5 months later. I don't think really it has to do with age so much as how you take care of yourself. And I also think that being in your late 30s or early 40s, self care looks a lot different. So the choices that you make about exercise and food are way different at this age when you've really been doing the work to work on yourself and getting in tune. And you know, we've talked a lot about listening to your body on this podcast. And so I think that's actually another perk. So I'm going to be going way more in detail about all of the ways that I have been able to take care of myself through this process. I've had a really interesting health journey. I'm going to be taking you guys through a postpartum rebalancing series here on the podcast. But don't worry, we're also going to continue talking about confidence in business, how to be an entrepreneur, whether you're a mom or not. If you're not a mom, you might be an entrepreneur who's thinking about being a mom later on in life. So hopefully this will give you a little bit of grace on where you're at and allow you to take a breath and know that it's possible to do both. If you've been stuck in anxious thoughts, overwhelmed, or just feeling like your nervous system can't catch a break, I can help. Click the link below to book a free one-on-one consultation and let's uncover what's really holding you back. And if you're craving simple, calm on demand, grab MomFlow Hypno for just $39 below. Instant reset right in your pocket. Remember, your calm is closer than you think.